Hey, welcome to another episode of Clear Lake Connections, where we talk to the people behind the businesses of Bay Area Houston, proudly sponsored by UTMB Health. Today's special guest, Marty Pell. You are the CEO of Wellby Financial. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jameson.
Tell us about Wellby Financial, a little background and kind of what you really want people to know about it.
Absolutely. And again, we're delighted to be with you today. Wellby Financial dates back to 1961. We were originally formed to serve the employees and family members of the NASA community, the space exploration community at Johnson Space Center. And what an awesome heritage to have. We're extremely proud of that. My kids instantly thought I was a lot cooler when I told them I was working with astronauts and folks at NASA, as opposed to just building spreadsheets and all that. But we're very proud of our heritage. It's been an awesome history and trajectory for our organization. That was 1961. We have grown throughout the years. We started out just with a basic office there at JSC and have expanded to now we have 21 branch locations, nearly 130,000 members all around Houston. And accordingly, a couple of years ago, we did take a look at the name of the organization, kind of the branding, and as we began to expand outside of the Clear Lake area, fewer folks were familiar with that story. And when we would explain it, there was some concern that they could be a part of our credit union. Mm-hmm. And so we are committed to financial well-being and thought it was a natural time to explore a new branding identity, and we became Wellby Financial a couple of years ago, but still the same organization, same history that we're very proud of, and we're excited about continuing to serve our home right here at Clear Lake and the rest of the area around Houston.
Yeah, and tell me more about your financial literacy efforts, and you guys have really taken that mission to heart, and you've built your entire brand around it. Talk to me a little about that.
Yeah, and I, to be honest with you, I have a hard time keeping up with all the things that our incredible community engagement team, all they're doing. Every time I look up on LinkedIn, we're at another seminar or another conference. But we have partnered with another company called EverFi to develop some real basic financial management techniques and tools. Those are available on our website, very easy to access, and they're designed so that someone just getting started could learn how to build a budget, could think about how do I save for a down payment for a home, what's it like to own a home, that process, some real basic foundational educational things. We then take those techniques and that advice out into the community. We do a number of workshops and sessions with local nonprofits or other organizations that we work with. Our team will sponsor workshops and do the training. And we've seen just some incredible response to that. And when it manifests itself in someone actually becoming a first-time homeowner, that is the true fulfillment of our mission.
So, and tell me about your story, because you have a story that really seems to line up perfectly with the work you're doing at Wellby.
Well, thank you for asking that. And actually, as I think about my story, I'm actually reminded of your story that you shared with me the other day, which was just fascinating. And just the power of someone in our lives caring about our family or our situation, making maybe what seems like the slightest investment, and it can completely change the trajectory of an individual's life or a family's life. Mm-hmm. In my situation, we shared the story of, so I grew up with a very loving family in a loving home, but we were of modest means financially. And there was a friend of my mom's that I didn't realize it at the time was helping us financially. Our family was on the brink of losing our home to foreclosure. I didn't know that at the time as a kid, but I was told about it later in life. And this friend of ours, Joyce is her name, she will never know the tremendous impact she had in providing that financial stability in our life and giving us hope, for a better tomorrow. I've even told the story with our staff that I kind of gave away the punchline as I just shared it with you, but tell the story about Joyce and how she even helped pay for a student's first car, and on graduation day, that individual was able to walk out of their house, see a car sitting there with no expectation of anything like that because of the financial situation. And that student was me. That's my story. And so I do have a particular passion around helping others get on that trajectory of financial peace and well-being. I have been the beneficiary of grace in my life, and we want to help write as many of those stories as we can.
Yeah. Did the board know that story when they interviewed you? Because it just seems like the perfect fit.
No, they did not. I did share whatever they asked me about in the interview process. Yeah. I was honest about, but I didn't share that one. But certainly, I agree with you. My personal values line up perfectly with Wellby Financial's commitment to help people prosper, help people achieve home ownership, build their savings, get on a pathway to financial security.
Yeah, and it helps to get up to go to work every day when your true north aligns with the organization you're with. For me, it's education,
right? Education
credit union. So it really doesn't even feel like work at that point.
Absolutely, very well said. And we try to create a culture and an environment where as many of our team members can feel that way. And we're going through a process right now. We updated our strategic plan last year. We just came back from a planning retreat this past weekend, and we're trying to do our best so that every single role in our organization can feel that connectivity back to our mission.
And how do you do that? I know you're big on culture and making sure that from top to bottom, everybody's facing the same way and trying to accomplish the same thing. How do you keep that going?
A number of ways. The most tangible way is to have some very clearly articulated goals where we are trying to achieve, and we have two overarching goals around helping as many families achieve home ownership as possible and helping as many families achieve at least 1 month's savings as possible. So we start with those two overarching objectives, and then we are building key performance indicators throughout the organization that connect back to those two overarching goals. So maybe you're working in the accounting department of a credit union, and you may think, well, how does what I do impact someone achieving home ownership? It can be tough to connect, and so we're going through that process of taking that day-to-day work that we all do, and it's all critical to the success of our team, and building those pathways back up to the overarching goals.
I like the one about trying to build savings. The most recent stat, I can't remember exactly, but about 66% of Americans can't come up with $1,000 in 2 days.
Right.
Talk to me about the difference between controlling your money versus the money controlling you. Yeah. And I think that's what you guys are trying to get people to, is to give them control of their money.
Right. Yeah. So it starts with a belief that when we live beneath our means, we are now setting ourselves up for success, and that's hard to do. Our culture certainly puts an emphasis on things, and I certainly know I'm like that too. I like to have nice things and take nice trips and so forth. But it kind of goes back to your earlier thought of the educational part of it, the financial literacy. It's truly understanding in the long term, what are your goals?
Yeah.
And can we perhaps sacrifice a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit in the short run, so that we're positioning ourselves for financial independence later. Part of that is we want you as our member to be in a position of financial security for your own well-being. But really the true benefit, if we go back to the joy story, is when you are in a position of financial independence, now you're best positioned to help others. And that's what we're largely driven by, is helping create this community of financially thriving families for their own peace of mind, but most importantly, so that they're now in a position to lend a helping hand to someone else.
Yeah, and it makes the community stronger.
Exactly.
And I notice you guys have been really active in the community. Talk to me about that and how purposeful that is.
Well, glad to do that. We have what I would say are two very significant kind of higher profile corporate partners, if you will, Space Center Houston and CCISD. Space Center Houston, perfect connectivity to our legacy. In fact, William Harris and I often joke that we're like kind of distant cousins. We come from the same origination story, both serving the establishment of NASA and the Johnson Space Center in this area. So we're very proud of that partnership with Space Center Houston. CCISD, we do a number of things with the school district. We have our STEM stars of the game in the football season. We just, in conjunction with Space Center Houston and their Moon to Mars Festival, we had a rocket challenge where local high school students could compete on building a rocket and launching it. And that was awesome. That was very cool. So we were proud to do that. Our team is also very involved in a number of other initiatives. There's a Cool Dad initiative where we're teaching, again, financial independence and responsible budgeting and those types of things to families. We partner with some of the other closely aligned organizations such as Habitat for Humanity. We're working with the Houston Area Urban League right now with a program that they're doing focused on educating community members on first-time home ownership.
Yeah.
And these are just a few. Again, I struggle to keep up with all the work that our team is doing, but if it's connected to financial planning, financial well-being, financial independence, home ownership, savings, those are the perfect alignments for us.
Yeah, you have to be strategic about it. You can't just support everything. You've got to focus, and it sounds like you guys do a good job of that.
Well, thank you.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about you're new to the area, and from all indications, you love it here. What is it that you love about this area, this region?
So I'm from the East Coast originally. I grew up in West Virginia, and then spent a number of years in North Carolina. And so when my wife and I visited here for the first time, one of the first things we did, we flew here, rented a car, and we were on a house hunting search in the Clear Lake area, and we were hungry, so we went to eat, and we went to the restaurant, and we were just kind of checking things out, and we kind of looked around and we're listening, just to folks and talking to the serving staff and so forth, and instantly we thought, we fit in here. We just felt comfortable. The environment's very friendly, very welcoming. We actually like warm weather, so that's a major plus.
Well, you've got plenty of that
yeah,
coming your way.
We sure do, and we're right in the midst of that. But culturally, we just felt like it was a great fit for our family and shared values and those types of things. And then once I got to meet our team at Wellby, man, I was impressed. And there's just a kind of this indomitable spirit that we can do this, and I've been inspired by our team's desire to make a difference, to truly make an impact in our community. So we just feel like we fit right in.
That's great. Anything else you want to tell the audience?
Well, again, I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to chat with you. Again, I've enjoyed getting to know you and your story, and that's inspirational in itself.
I appreciate that.
27 years of service at Gulf Coast Educators, and your story of commitment to education and the impact an educator made in you and your family's life, that was moving to me. And so I think anytime we have the chance to sit and chat about what has moved us in our lives and what motivates us to make a difference in other people's lives, that's a great thing. In our society, we spend a lot of time on what makes us different or what kind of pulls us apart. And there are so many good things that can bring us back together.
Yeah.
And anytime we have a chance to talk about those things, that's exciting.
Yeah, and I love the story of one person making a big difference, and it seems like you're trying to instill that in your entire team, that those random encounters, they can be life-changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know. The difference that caring makes. I hear stories all the time about, and I'm sure you do too, about our team members when they're interacting with each other or with our members of the credit union, and how just a smile or taking that one extra beat to truly hear someone and their situation, and what may feel like going the extra mile, but just taking a little bit of effort, just caring, makes such a difference. And people remember that, and it can truly impact their lives.
Yeah, I'm reminded of a story about, so people say we're in banking or we're credit unions and you make loans. Well, you don't make loans. You make things possible for
Right.
families.
Yep.
I'll never forget, we have a member that kept coming back. They used the money for IVF, and they finally had a baby girl.
Wow.
And so it wasn't just a personal loan. It was extremely personal.
Right. Wow. See, there's a great
Yeah.
example. I was sharing with our board over the weekend the story of this family who was just so desirous of acquiring that first home. They're coming out of a tougher situation, and there had never been that experience of home ownership in their family. And they were talking to us. They had a very high rate, high cost, unsecured loan that was holding them back. Well, our team saw that and realized, hey, we can help them not with this issue. And by saving them hundreds of dollars a month on that poorly structured loan, they now qualified for a home loan, and we were able to help that family achieve home ownership for the first time in their life. It's those types of stories that motivate me, and we just want to help write as many of those as we can.
Well, it highlights how if you know more about money and the way it works, you end up saving more money because you don't get trapped into things like that.
Exactly. Very well said. And so again, that educational aspect, the financial literacy and those types of things, we're going to keep doing that because, again, we want to help train a whole new generation of financially independent, strong community members that will then positively impact their neighbors' lives.
Well, Marty, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much.